Good evening, everybody. I'll just wait and see if a few people are going to jump on this evening. What I'm going to be talking about this evening is a subject that is very, very close to my heart, because everything that I teach and everything that any ascension, awakening or good Pilates or yoga teacher will teach is all coming under the umbrella of one word, which I have shared many, many times before. And that word is expansion. That one word is expansion. So what I'm going to offer this evening is a 5-minute practice to show you and for you to experience how you can feel and look more radiant. And I'm going to include the guys here as well, because that feminine part of us that is radiant is really needed by everybody. We're all going to experience a lot of expansion by changing the chemicals in the body to come into more alignment of us as humans. And we don't live in a very natural world at the moment, although heaven on earth is already here and we can access it through accessing our radiance. So it's going to be a really, really simple practice, of which I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it will come to me as we begin, because that's how I work. So the first thing I just want you to do is just shut your eyes for a moment. And if you haven't got time, peace, space, quiet to practice this, then do come back to this later and just let me know that you're on the replay. But if you're here with me now, make sure that you have some quiet space, because hopefully in 5 minutes, if you can follow my instruction, we will all be together in a different headspace, in a different vibe, and connect to a different frequency. And then when I've done that, I'm going to take you through a little relaxation. So just for now, have your feet on the floor and just close your eyes and notice what's going on in your facial muscles. So just notice if your forehead feels tense. So we're just doing a little body scan, really. Notice any tension up in your shoulders or your upper back. Notice if your belly feels knotted, tight. So just a little quick scan of your body to notice how you're feeling physically. Personally, I noticed that I'd had a really busy day today. And I also noticed that when I was away last week, about 4 or 5 days out of that week, I had wine with my meal, and that's not something I normally do. And I noticed today, I got in about 5:30 this evening, and I had this thought go through my mind. I'm quite tired and a little bit stressed. I've done a lot today. I've been really busy. A glass of wine would be nice. And I immediately had the thought, don't go down that road. You know, it's been 25 years since going down that road of thinking, oh, a glass of wine would be nice. And it's absolutely not necessary, because as we start to expand and let go of what we don't need, we won't need that glass of wine. So what we're going to do now is open your eyes as wide as you can open your eyes. Okay, and just imagine the skin on your face becoming more open, as if you're literally moving your right cheekbone away from your left cheekbone. And just feel your eyes starting to open. Now, I'm not talking about the eyeballs sort of glaring, because as soon as we glare, we actually take out some of the work from our core. So I'm talking about a very soft gaze, but with sort of that innocence of a child wide open in awe, that kind of awness. And then just imagine and feel the skin on your forehead just widening. And think of something amazing, like think of something really, really amazing, whatever that might be for you. Just this kind of like, just imagine your face expanding. And it's funny, I always say to that with clients, because when we work the glutes and the hamstrings, or when we work the hamstrings correctly, we actually can lift the bum by working the hamstrings. So I never get people to squeeze their bum, for example, to lift the bum. It's the hamstrings that go right up to the sit bones. And I often say to them, in order to get the right muscles, I'll often say, let your bum feel as if it's getting expanded, which isn't always the best invitation for clients who want to tighten their bottom. Although, of course, big bums and thighs appear to be the latest trend, in which case you could just eat more. If you just want the big bum, big thigh look, you could just eat more. But to come into an expanded version, to allow the core and the deep muscles to do their job, we actually need to expand. We need to feel expanded. So the skin on the face will become tauter. And then I want you just to imagine that your head is floating above your shoulders, so your neck feels long. And then I want you to think about the right shoulder and the left shoulder widening away. So the right shoulder is moving away from the left shoulder. And just check that you're not squeezing your shoulder blades together behind you. So we want the width of the shoulders. And then actually what we can do from there is we can take the arms out to the side. So I've got my arms bent. I'm not squeezing my shoulder blades together. I'm just pulling my elbows as wide apart as possible. So it's a very subtle move. When we start to really kind of stretch into the fascia, the connective tissue, we're not really dealing with muscles. We're actually, it's very subtle, but we're just pulling one elbow away from the other. So we're just really creating that space, so that usually we're either overdoing the pecs or we're sort of tensing in the upper back. It's neither of those. We're just really saving energy to expand, to come in to that expansive energy. We need to find the easiest route, and the easiest route is always the correct route. Funny that, isn't it? Just been listening to somebody, I think it was Julia Hartley-Brewer on Talk Radio, discussing with some vaccine MP about how everyone's going to need their flu jabs and their booster jabs. I'm just thinking, for fuck's sakes, just drop that whole idea of covering up and layering up plasters over the damage. Just forget that. Expansion is about coming back into the core of who you are and taking the supplements and the vitamins and feeling good that you're actually able to take care of your vessel, your physical vessel, your mental and emotional. And fear is what's driving people to ridiculous, responsive thoughts and actions. Anyway, let's drop that one. So pulling the elbows as wide apart. If you're doing this with me, you may find your shoulders are getting tired. But if you just close your eyes for a moment and just visualize, it's so subtle, so subtle. And then you can just open the arms out. Ziggy, when Ziggy's comfy, he starts chewing his bone. So I'm just pulling my arms really wide, And again, I'm not squeezing my shoulder blades, but I'm just reaching the right fingers away from the left fingers. And there's all sorts of nerve pulls going on here, right through into the fingers, particularly the middle finger. So I'm literally pulling one hand away from the other hand, and then just release. And just notice how much more open you're going to feel. And then, because we're sitting down today, just have your feet width apart and allow your sit bones to widen. I literally mean your sit bones to widen. And what will happen is you will come into what may feel like a tilt in your pelvis. But actually what we're doing by widening your bum, by making your bum feel bigger, we're actually coming into our core muscles so that your lower back will just be in its natural curve. We're not pushing the pelvis back into a lordosis. We're just literally sitting right up on the sit bones, but feeling that the sit bones are as wide away from each other as you can get them. If you don't know where your sit bones are, they're the bones in your bum. If you've got flesh on your bum like I have, you might need to poke your finger in there a bit, but there's two bones on the right and the left that when you sit up straight, you're sitting on the bones. Those are we call them the sits bones. So try and pull them as wide as possible. So just coming back, just to go through that again, it's a wide open face. Think of the awness that a child experiences being in the present, seeing something for the first time. You can pull your mouth wide with a little turn up. You're pulling your shoulders wide. You might feel your armpits activate. You might feel the lift in your armpits. The sit bones are wide. And what actually happens then is we've come into our core. We just take a breath in just to finish that little bit. So breathe in deeply so the ribs move away. The right rib moves away from the left rib as wide as you can get it. Another part of the body that I'm really interested in I talk about a lot when I'm exercising my clients is the neck. The neck is really key to expansion, to coming into core. I won't go too much into the neck now. So it's just really the circumference of the body is you're just imagining it's all widening. Energetically, what you're doing is you are actually increasing the expansion of your aura, your energy field, your ethereal body, and we're actually, when we come into this state of expansion, we're actually starting to connect with the quantum. It made me laugh. What was it? Somebody said something today, was talking about something, and it seems like a lot of these peer-reviewed things that people want all the time just reminds me that very often science as we know it is very limited to 3D, to the third dimension. And once you understand energy and understand the quantum field, these practices that I share will actually help you to start to merge into that more expanded version, which is not just physical. As I was saying earlier today, we are so not just physical beings. The cells in your body really don't recognize the difference between, for example, stress being physical, mental, spiritual, emotional. The cells just recognize stress as stress. So if we are, which we are, totally a mind, a body, a spirit, an emotional body, then simply by expanding in the correct way, in the way that I teach, simply by expanding, you can't but help feel more expanded in your consciousness, more expanded in your awareness, more expanded in your creative mind, more expanded in your thinking, in your movement, which creates freedom. Freedom in the body creates freedom in the mind, freedom in the spirit, more freedom to express your emotions. It's just never ending. We are just incredible, amazing beings. Thank you for joining me. Give me a heart, please, if you're enjoying this, because I just love teaching this stuff. And this is much more fun than sitting down this evening and that just that little thought of a glass of wine. No, I'm doing yoga tonight. I'm going to just do some yoga after a busy day. Thank you very much. So that's basically a really mini short version of how you can expand. And if you've done that practice that I've just shared with you, we can just now go into just a quiet little meditation. So allow yourself to sit with your sit bones wide, with your skin feeling a little more taut, because it's rather dark in here tonight. I've got my lamp on, but it seems when I put my full lights on in the studio, it sort of glares an awful lot. So it's just that wide-eyed, innocent, softness around the cheeks and the forehead, like you're feeling a little bit excited, just like that energy of like, oh, this feels good. I like this, this is exciting. That whole energy of excitement, of feeling expanded. You might just be about to have a wonderful orgasm. I always bring orgasms into it because orgasmic energy is so potent and so powerful that your body will naturally do that anyway. But if you have to force or make something happen, or not force, let's not use the word force, but invite your body to be more expansive, then you are at some level going to start connecting to your root chakra, to your kundalini, to your creative life force, sexual energy. It's part of the part. When we come into our core, when we're expanded and we become aligned, our core activates, and that will include your pelvic floor as well. So, just be straight. Let me know if anyone live is doing this with me now. I'm always curious to know if people actually do this live. I always get messages saying, thank you so much for that meditation. I did it later on and it felt really good. So do make the time to do this, because just 2 minutes is really beneficial. Round, feel your bum on the seat. And see if that expansiveness in your face, across your shoulders, throughout your sit bones. And then we're just going to invite the breath to come in to expand the rib cage. So now just feeling the ribs, the right, the left, just opening out. Feel the intercostal muscles between your bones being stretched. And if you need to let go of a sigh, let go of your sigh, and see if you can do it without collapsing, because sometimes a sigh is very much equated with a collapse, but we're actually going to remain expanded and lengthened as we exhale. And that's where actually toning the neck can be really useful. So let's just do that again. So just breathe into the right lung, into the left lung, and feel the ribs expanding out to the side. Belly, so feel the belly expanding, and maybe the lower back expanding as well. This is all about expansion. And then exhale. Breathe in. Try and let the belly expand at the front, the lower back expand at the back. And as you exhale, try and keep the expansion. So try and keep the skin as far away from possible from the front of the belly to the lower back. Keep sitting really tall. It's key that you keep the spine expanded and lengthened. And what will happen there is your natural core will activate. A lot of people don't realise that. Okay. I'm not talking about pushing the belly out. I'm just talking about exhaling fully without overly efforting anywhere. No need to effort anything, just to expand. And then just taking your awareness back into your body, into your jaw, into your cheeks, around your eyes, forehead, scalp. width in your feet. Most yoga teachers and Pilates teachers have big feet for the very reason that we have expanded feet and toes because we are in our core. I hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. It's a reminder for me that when the posture is not expanded, the opposite to expansion is contraction, and that's when we start to look and feel older than our years. And these practices are invaluable practices for keeping youthful. How you feel, how you look, and you can literally change the way you feel, literally in that 5 minutes that I showed you. So let me know if you try this, if you practice it, and do share with me your results, because I'm at the very beginning stages of putting together a course. I'm right at the beginning stages, but I'm putting together a course on my 32 years of teaching fitness, Pilates, yoga, training lots of teachers to teach Pilates. And I have grown so much. Even in the last 18 months, my teaching has changed massively. So I really want to share my wisdom and my practice, if you like, of expansion, not just physically, but on every level. As we move into the 5th dimension, this work, these practices will really support you in that. Have a lovely evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. And please share this video if you know anyone that might be interested. It's an absolute passion of mine and has been for a very, very, very long time. Thanks for watching. Take care.